Alright, today is Vlogmas Day 10, and because we are filming today, we're doing an easy video. So we're going to be doing Questions for Humans, Friends Edition. So this is created by Dr. John Delony. He's a Ramsey personality. And these are just questions for humans. So we're just going to go through a few of these and post up the video. I don't think there's a reason to shuffle them because I've never used them before. But I'm going to shuffle them anyway. All right, we got it. Do it. Do it, Craig. Do it.
What are you 100% convinced is a scam? Where does your information come from? Hey, buddy, you gotta sit.
All right, so what's your answer?
I thought it was for you.
Oh, well, no, like you, and then we'll both answer.
Oh, what's my answer? 401ks, because you don't get them till you're 65, and they can fluctuate as much. It's a huge Ponzi scheme, because like you get penalized to touch your money, because it's tax free. But it's like that's a Ponzi scheme. That's a scam. Okay. It's elaborate. So it's a Ponzi scheme.
So my response to that would be, I think it's more Social Security, because by the time we're going to retire, it likely won't be around anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the scam. The 401k, like it's our money. If you're putting it in there in Roth, then you pay the taxes now. You don't have to pay any taxes later. Inflation is going to kill us. So it's a good way to fight inflation, the 401k. But I think mine would be, I'm just going to say, like, some of the life insurance products that are out there.
Yeah.
So like term life is a great product. Mm. It's affordable. Like it's there for what you need, but then it's like some of the whole life products that are out there, it's like they are a scam. It's, if you look at commission structures, like it's exactly like a multi-level marketing, but it's established, so then everybody's like, no, it's legit. It's like, well, it's only legit because of all the like politician dollars that are thrown at it.
Yeah. That's a Ponzi scheme too.
Everything's a Ponzi scheme. Let's see if the next one's a Ponzi scheme. What is your best Ponzi scheme? Just kidding. So this one is, what's the most overrated TV show? Most overrated. I'm going to get a lot of haters on this. It's not from my generation. Friends.
I liked Friends when I was a kid because I watched it from when I was like 10 to when it ended, when I was like 17 or whatever. But I could get it because it's slow.
I just never got into it, so it might be one of those, if I went back and watched it, I would like it. But I mean, like, I love The Office. I feel like people who like The Office liked Friends. Just I never got into Friends. So I haven't watched it, but that's what I'm calling most overrated.
I think the one that comes to mind is during the pandemic, there wasn't much content, and everybody was going on and on about the show Nurse Ratched, and it's terrible.
I've never heard of it.
It's on Netflix. It's terrible because the storyline, you just meet this nurse and she's already killing people, and the dialogue is terrible. I don't know why everybody liked it. The actors are well-regarded actors, but then you watch Nurse Ratched and you're like, oh, you need to take a shower after watching it because it's so bad.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, because it sucks. But it blew up during 2020 because there was nothing else to watch, and everybody, like, online was like, Nurse Ratched's great. It's like, that's trash. Like, if you like that, we can't be friends. Like,
I thought you were gonna say Tiger King because you started with the pandemic, and I was about to walk out. Like,
No,
what?
I lived that life. I waited for 45 minutes and you never showed up.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
You want to pet a cat?
All right, you're up.
What's the best decision you've ever made that went against your better judgment? Like, what's the best decision? Like, what's the best worst decision you've ever made is what it's asking you.
Yeah.
That's tough. Like, right now it was how much sriracha that I put on my omelet this morning, because that was a lot of sriracha and it lit me up. But it's like, as an adult, best worst decision I've ever made that worked out, I don't know.
I'm gonna answer this for you. I'm gonna answer it for you, and then you tell me whether you agree or not. So, one of the worst financial mistakes, like because this is Ramsey. So one of the worst financial mistakes, according to Dave Ramsey, would be leasing a car. However, you got into your car right before the pandemic prices blew cars through the roof.
So it's like David Ramsey, whatever, he's a billionaire, like he has no perspective. But when you're a grad student making $24K a year, and I think I was able to lease my first Accord for $200 a month. Like, the deal is so good. I showed up at the dealership to return it, and they're like, "How did you get this? What's your deal? I've never heard of such mysterious things." And then I was still able to lease a car for only I think it was only $80 more. And then key pandemic time happened, and the biggest problem is getting a car payment that's $300. Like, I make way more money now, but I'm like, anything over $300 is such a joke, because you're not getting that much value. Like, when you spend $1,000 a month on a car payment, like,
there's different leases, right? Like, you can go out and lease a Mercedes, and it's going to cost you $1,000 a month, and then you are just eating all the depreciation. Now, yours, it was the perfect time. I'm specifically referencing the most recent lease,
yeah,
because it was a fairly inexpensive monthly payment, but then
no money down.
At the end of it, it's like your car, the residual that you still owed was so much less than what the car was worth, because you got it right in that time of buying, like right before prices blew up. So leasing is still just mathematically the most expensive way to own a car, but the way that you did it, you actually made money on the deal when you look at the equity of it, because of just how car prices went.
I was just fortunate that there were the deals that had no money down. Because the second you have to put money down, and they'll ask you to put money down, they'll be like, "Are you going to trade in this car, little boy?" And you have to tell yourself, "No, this isn't even my car. I drove it here to get the lease."
Yeah.
But I think putting money down is silly on a lease. And it's just that's a stupid way for you to eat the depreciation. But like, Honda does like offers all the time, and they're better. But you have to have owned a Honda for like the last decade to get an extra $1,000 sometimes. But they do suck if you get like a Land Rover, because you have to put 10 grand down.
What's and anything that has high depreciation, like in the lease, you're just eating that depreciation. So since we're talking cars, I'll say my worst but best decision. Worst. Exactly how is it worded? The best decision you've made that went against your better judgment. So I bought a car off eBay. It worked out a little bit, because I had a cousin that bought a couple cars from this guy many years ago. But we were looking for a car, and it was like, okay, everything is crazy inflated right now. The kind of car that we're looking at, we're either going to have to spend $10,000 more than the car is actually worth, or we're going to have to get an older car. And my wife really didn't care about anything except she wanted all-wheel drive because our driveway is so steep that if there's any sort of snow or ice, you can't get up the driveway. And you come at it at an angle because it's, perpendicular to the road. So the way you have to get up it is as you're approaching our driveway, you cut the yard a little bit and then kind of ramp up the side, and then you can get up.
I have a firm no steep driveway clause if I buy a house because I hate steep driveways in the Midwest.
That's like, it wasn't as bad as, where was your mom's last house on Chestnut?
Yeah, because it's like straight up.
Yeah, so it's not nearly that bad, but like,
it's like this.
Yeah,
but it's short. It's weird because it's short, but like elevated.
So, yeah, so needed all-wheel drive and needed CarPlay. Like, that's all she really cared about. Like, everything else didn't really matter. But everything was just so expensive, and we had one child and soon to be another child, so we needed an SUV, and SUV prices were through the roof. So I went on eBay, and the seller basically just buys totaled cars that were totaled out by insurance, and then he works with a network of repair shops to repair them, and he sells them on eBay. And he has a huge track record with Jeeps, and he does some Dodges, but it's like Jeeps and then like some of the luxury brands like BMW and Mercedes, like, because they're so expensive to repair, and then he can repair them cheaply. He very rarely sells Acuras. So we bought an Acura RDX. It ended up costing $25,000. That car at the time, that year, that miles was going for about $40,000. So it's like, all right, saving a ton of money. But then in your head, it's like I'm gonna wire this guy that I've never met $25,000, and then like the auction closed. I set up the wire transfer online. They deny it. My bank calls me and it's like, this seems sketchy. I was like, yeah, but I don't think it is. Like, well, have you seen the car? Like, well, the picture's online. Yeah, but have you seen it in person? Like, well, no. But like, the guy's got a track record. So they try to talk me out of it, and then I think their manager has to call me back and then like double approve it, and they're like, look, as soon as this money goes out, we can't touch it. So like, everyone along the way was like, don't do this. But we've now had the car a little over a year. I have to renew the registration sticker right now. That's how you know how long you've had it. It's been good. Like, there was a couple small things that broke because of the accident, but then the guy ended up wiring me money back to cover the repairs. So it's been decent. Like, there's a couple downsides. Like, it doesn't have all the plastic undercoating and stuff, so you get a little bit more road noise. But for the price for the car, it turned out really well, even though, like, is it a good decision to send a random dude off the internet $25,000 to buy a car? Absolutely not.
Did he call you about your insurance warranty afterwards?
He didn't, but 50 other people did.
Got ya. Okay. Is it your turn?
Yes. Yeah, we've each done... Well, this will be my second. Is social media good for us or bad for us? Why? Well, this is social media right now.
This video is good for you. Everything else is bad for you.
Exactly. So I think it depends a lot, and I think you have to limit yourself. So I've got two little girls, and it's like, if you fast forward, if the social media was the way it is today when they're teenagers, absolutely not, because everything is about looks and standards and all of this. And as you're maturing and you don't like have those natural sensors when you get older, like, somebody could make comments on our appearance, right, and we don't care. But
right,
for teenage girls, I'm not just limiting it to that, right, because it's a huge problem, and all the mental health issues that are caused by social media. Like, yes, it's a huge problem. So I think you have to limit the types of social media and what you're using it for, because even, you know, something like LinkedIn is social media, and if you are like constantly comparing yourself in your career versus what you're seeing on there, like even that can be damaging. But there's huge benefits, and I think the benefits definitely outweigh the risks. I mean, not like let's not get into the political atmosphere here, but it's like the benefits versus the negatives of something like firearms. Like, of course, they're extremely dangerous, and in the wrong hands, they can cause issues. But like, the world is a better place for having firearms in good hands. What's your thought?
I think it depends on the application. Because, like, if you're bored, it's great. But if you find yourself addicted to it, and that's all you do... Because I have told people I've run out of TikTok feed, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I have scrolled, and I have scrolled, and I've scrolled, and I ran out of videos, and TikTok told me to go away. I've done that 3 times, and that's when I realized I had a problem. But it's kind of, unfortunately, a part of, like, how I wake up, because, like, to, like, wake myself up, like, I'll jam social media down my throat just to be like, all right, now it's time for coffee. But they definitely do. It can be good, say if you, like, own a t-shirt shop, and you're like, I make wicked sick designs. Like, I bought this shirt off the TikTok shop because it's wicked sick. It's a Godzilla dog.
That is pretty cool.
But, like, the dude hand makes them. So, like, this dude sold out 3 times of these shirts, and I think I got them on the 2nd run. But without social media, that dude probably couldn't afford rent. But now he probably will be able to expand his business and grow. Another person that really has benefited from social media is, like, from the guitar world, Josh Scott at JHS. Like, if you watch any of his videos, like, he's more or less making guitar and pedal and musical, like, history anthologies with his videos. So, like, his content's great if you're like, why do we have this? Who made this? Who invented it? Why do we care? He even did a musical about guitar pedals where each pedal was a decade, and they each had their own, like, vibe and explanation of where they came from and who invented them. So it's like,
yeah,
if you use that aspect, it's really cool. But it's getting drowned out and letting yourself get, like, too attached. Like, it harms your well-being.
Right. So without social media, Josh would have had to have written a textbook.
He's written books, but like...
Right, but it's like, okay, you're only going to come across them if you're studying music theory, right? and then it's like, well, the only way to study music theory is to go to school, and then everyone knows that a degree in music theory, the only thing you can do with that is teach music theory.
Well, I don't... That's, like, debatable, because there's so many people, like, I didn't realize it, because I've been to Nashville a bunch, and that people are working musicians, and they teach, they work at Guitar Center, they're in 5 bands, or they are session musicians.
So you just said that they teach, though.
Oh, did I say teach?
Yes.
Like, maybe they teach, like, lessons, but mostly they're in bands, or, like, because there's a guy named Rhett Scholl, he went and got, a degree from... I don't remember what place, but, like, I think he has a bachelor's in, like, guitar surrounded music.
Yeah. But it's, I guess what I mean by that is, like, the number of jobs versus the degree, right? So something like a traditional, like, an engineer or a chemist, like, you can go get a job anywhere with one of those degrees. But if it's something specific, then it's a lot more limiting. So with social media, like, you can still be a chemist by day, and then you can, like, dive into music theory at night and not have to, like, be in school to learn it, or try to, you know, self-teach. Like, the resources that are out there, it's incredible because of social media.
Yeah, it's definitely handy because you do. It's crazy how social media helps people's careers drastically. From the T-shirt shop to there's a guy named Dylan Adams on Instagram. He got featured on a YouTube channel because of how good of a guitar slide player he is, and now he's Instagram famous, and people are asking for tips, tricks, and he's getting more work based off his Instagram account. I don't know any of these people, but unfortunately, if I met somebody, I'd be like, I know you. You're that guy from the thing with the hair. Or no hair, but...
So you mentioned the TikTok shop real quick, and then we'll each do one more question. I set up a TikTok shop. I haven't like put any products on there yet, but I was curious because everybody talks about like, check out the TikTok shop. I got this for a penny. And so obviously TikTok is doing massive discounts. So the people that are selling aren't eating that cost. TikTok is. But I was just curious. So like I was gonna set up a product, set a disc that I have a ton of, and then set the price, and then go see like what it costs. Because then, like, so for example, like if I had a $50 disc that I have 50 of, and I throw those on there, and then people can pay $10, but I still get the 50. It's like that's a great way to use it. So I don't know. I set it up. I'm gonna test it. It'll be a future video to see how that turns out. But I might be a TikTok shop guy now.
I think some of it's a joke, and then some of it is pretty nice. Like I mean, this shirt,
cheese
nice.
graters. Like, come on.
Yeah, or like derma abrasion kits for your scalp. Like, I'm not buying that from TikTok. Like, it's needles. Like, I don't know. They could have came out of drug needles. Like, I have no idea. There's no proof.
All right. Last questions.
What are 2 big life things you've been wrong about? 2 big life things.
Is this one of those, like, I didn't find out until I was 47 years old that...
Maybe. I would say grad school was the initial thing I was wrong about. I would be careful about going to grad school. I might not be the best person to be like, hey, my little boy wants to go to grad school. What should you do? Run! Don't go! Just go work on a fishing boat. You'll be happier. But if you think about it, like you see people, unless you're very fortunate to get a well-paying job, like having the degrees do help, but then they don't help at the same time, because you could be limited, or the people you work with, unless you hang up on the wall, still have zero idea about your background, and they're still like, hey junior, I just wanted to let you know you got to get your work done this week. And I'm like, I have 2 theses and 2 publications, like, we're gonna get this project out. And they're like, oh, I know, it's fine. We'll just make sure you get it done. And I'm like, of course it's getting done. It's $80,000 contract. We got to get that out this month. But just to let you know, it's all on you. And you're not even the project manager, but it's all on you. That'd be like the one thing I could say. But it's a mixed bag. I don't know if it's worth it to get a degree currently, depending on what you want to do. I would probably, if I had kids, try to get them focused at 17 years old. If you're getting scholarships, go to school. It's free. Like, if you have a specific career path, but like when I was 17 years old, I didn't know what I wanted to be. Like, I thought I did, but I had no idea.
Do you know what you want to be now?
Thoughts. Lots of thoughts. But it's like one of those, I would be more tentative about how you want to spend your time as you get older.
So I'll take the other half of this, because it was 2. That's like cheating. That's like 2 questions. My thoughts on the college thing. 1, definitely. So even if you don't have scholarships, try to get them. Mm-hmm. Like, there's so many scholarships that are out there. There's, I can't think of her name, but there is a Ramsey personality that is all about like going to school without debt. So like applying for the scholarships, and she talks through that process. And like there's so many scholarships out there, and so many of them go unclaimed. every year because nobody applies. Like, how many random businesses in your town give out $1,000 scholarships, and it's just so that the execs can have a write-off and then have a little celebratory dinner with the recipient. It's like there's so many out there.
The other thing, in Indiana, there's like a special bank account you can put money into, and if you hit $5,000, you get a free $1,000. So
is that like a 529?
Yeah, I had no idea about those like while I was in school, because when you're in school, I think you can get them, but when you're out of school, they're like, what? Do you want to do what with your money? No, you can't do that.
So a 529 would be like parents putting it in. So I don't know if that is something different. I don't know. But again, like if you're looking to go to college, just look into what's out there.
Yeah.
I did grad school, but I did it at the same time I did undergrad. So I was still, like, everything college-wise I was done in 3 years. And that's how, like, if I would recommend somebody going through it, it's like try to just power through it. Obviously, you don't want to overload yourself if you can't handle that kind of class load to get through 3 degrees in 3 years. Don't kill yourself. But yeah, for me, that worked out because I wasn't a big fan of school. So just like toughing it out for 3 years and getting it done, that worked for me. Okay, so then my half would be then what is one big life thing that you've been wrong about? I mean, there's so many, but I can't think of any right this second.
One big life thing you were wrong about.
So, I mean, what are the big life things? Okay.
It's like buying a house, buying a car.
That was exactly where I was going, housing. Like we already talked about cars, so housing. I bought my house before everything skyrocketed. Mm-hmm. And then it's like everybody that I knew started buying houses after the market went crazy. And I was a big, like, I was that guy who was like, why are you buying right now? It's crazy. Like, that house is $100,000 more than it should be. And everybody's like, no, it's like, that's just it is what it is. That's what a house costs. And it's like, no, that's really dumb. But then I was wrong because here we are 3 years later and housing prices haven't come down. They're still where they're at. So like the guy that bought a $200,000 house when I was like, that house is worth $100,000. Like, well, now his house is worth $250,000. And I don't understand it. And there's probably a conspiracy theory here about taxes. Because in Illinois, you basically pay 3% of your house value in tax every year. Like the tax rate, depending on where you're at, it's anywhere between, like, the absolute lowest would be like 7% up to like 14%. So let's just say 9 to 10 is the average. But then your tax is based on 1/3 of the assessed value of your house. So that's like, it's different in Indiana than Illinois. But in Illinois, so if your house is $300,000, then it's assessed as $100,000, but then your tax is 9%. So it's just like, okay, my tax is 3% of the value of my house. So what that means is, on average in Illinois, you are paying a 30-year mortgage on your house just to own your house. So with all the housing prices going up, that means the government is making all of that extra money on the tax on the house. So again, like, I haven't researched it at all, but that's where I'm saying the conspiracy theory is of the government trying to limit the housing. And there is like things like a lot of cities have, like, where you can't build duplexes, triplexes. You can't do like multi-family units. You can't do those things in a lot of cities. So then that obviously spikes because then your demand isn't there. Like, you can't have a triplex, but you can have an apartment complex that has 20 tenants in one building. So like,
there's a lot of duplexes. Like, let me say it correctly. There are a lot of condo level homes here where they are duplexes like that. The housing market is funny.
So I think there's a setting on the camera that shuts off after 30 minutes. So we lost the last question, which was just, what is your most underrated fast food chain? I said Jason's Deli because they're very good about being gluten-free. I don't feel like anybody has that super high on their list. And then Craig said White Castle because he ate there recently and it was actually pretty good food. Wasn't super greasy. Didn't make him sick or anything like that. All right, so that's today's video. We did it that style because it doesn't require a bunch of editing, but we'll go out and we'll shoot some videos today. Hopefully tomorrow, there's Aaron and I did a Gyropalooza video that is taking me forever to edit. So hopefully I get that done, get that posted tomorrow. That's going to be a big giveaway, guaranteed giveaway. Then based on views, I'll kind of go from there. We might even give away more. But yeah, that's today's video. Thanks for watching.